The story of how the United States became the most powerful military force in the world did not happen overnight. It is a long journey built on technology, strategy, economic strength, and global influence. To understand why America holds this position today, we must travel back in time and follow the path that shaped its military dominance. In the early years of the United States, the country did not possess the overwhelming military strength that we see today. After gaining independence from Britain in the late 18th century, the young nation focused mainly on survival and expansion. The army was small, the navy was limited, and most of the country's resources were directed toward building infrastructure, farming land, and expanding westward. However, even in those early days, the foundations of future military power were being laid. American leaders understood that geography alone offered advantages. The country was protected by two vast oceans, the Atlantic Ocean to the east and the Pacific Ocean to the west. These natural barriers made it difficult for foreign powers to invade the mainland. At the same time, America possessed enormous natural resources: coal, iron, oil, fertile farmland, and vast territory. These resources would later become the fuel that powered one of the most advanced military industries in human history. The real transformation began in the 20th century. When the First World War erupted in Europe in 1914, the United States initially stayed out of the conflict. But by 1917, America entered the war, bringing with it fresh troops, industrial power, and financial resources that helped shift the balance. Although the war ended soon after, it demonstrated something important. When America mobilized its economy and industry, it could produce weapons, ships, and supplies on a massive scale. But the event that truly launched the United States into military superpower status was the Second World War. In 1941, the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor forced the United States into a global conflict. What followed was one of the most extraordinary industrial mobilizations ever seen. American factories that once produced cars and household goods rapidly transformed into massive production lines for tanks, aircraft, ships, and ammunition. Millions of workers filled factories day and night. Entire cities became centers of war production. By the end of the war, the United States had built tens of thousands of aircraft, thousands of ships, and enormous numbers of armored vehicles. American bombers crossed oceans to strike enemy targets. Aircraft carriers dominated the Pacific Ocean, and the U.S. military demonstrated the ability to fight on multiple continents at the same time. During this period, American scientists also developed one of the most powerful weapons ever created, the atomic bomb. The Manhattan Project brought together some of the greatest scientists in the world, working in secret laboratories across the country. In 1945, the successful development of nuclear weapons changed the nature of warfare forever. When the war ended, much of Europe and Asia lay devastated. Cities were destroyed, economies collapsed, and millions of people were struggling to rebuild their lives. The United States, however, emerged from the war with its industrial base intact and its economy stronger than ever. This moment marked the beginning of America's position as the dominant military and economic power in the world. But maintaining that power required constant development and innovation. Soon after the war, a new global rivalry began, the Cold War between the United States and the Soviet Union. Unlike traditional wars fought on battlefields, the Cold War was a long struggle for influence, technology, and military superiority. Both nations invested enormous resources into building stronger armies, more advanced aircraft, powerful missiles, and nuclear arsenals capable of destroying entire nations. During this time, Americans made massive investments in research and development. Universities, laboratories, and defense companies worked together to create new technologies that would transform modern warfare. One of the most important developments was the creation of advanced jet aircraft. American engineers developed fighters capable of traveling faster than the speed of sound. Bombers could fly across continents without refueling. Radar systems became more sophisticated, allowing the military to detect threats from hundreds of miles away. At the same time, the United States began building a powerful navy that could project force anywhere in the world. Aircraft carriers became floating air bases, capable of launching dozens of fighter jets while operating thousands of miles from American shores. Aircraft strike groups, protected by destroyers and submarines, allowed the U.S. Navy to maintain a constant presence in strategic regions across the globe. Another critical component of America's military strength lies beneath the oceans. Nuclear-powered submarines patrol the world's waters silently, carrying ballistic missiles capable of reaching targets thousands of miles away. These submarines form part of what is known as the nuclear triad: land-based missiles, submarine-launched missiles, and strategic bombers. The nuclear triad ensures that even if an enemy attempted a surprise attack, the United States would still retain the ability to respond. This concept, known as deterrence, has played a major role in preventing large-scale conflicts between nuclear powers. Technology has always been one of America's greatest advantages. Over the decades, the U.S. military has developed some of the most advanced weapon systems ever created. Stealth aircraft, for example, are designed to avoid detection by radar. Their unique shapes and special materials scatter radar signals, making them extremely difficult to track. Precision-guided weapons have also revolutionized modern warfare. Instead of dropping large numbers of bombs over wide areas, modern weapons can strike specific targets with remarkable accuracy. Satellites guide missiles to their targets, drones provide real-time surveillance, and advanced sensors allow commanders to see the battlefield with unprecedented clarity. Another factor that contributes to America's military dominance is its global network of alliances. The United States maintains strong partnerships with many countries around the world. Organizations like the North Atlantic Treaty Alliance connect American military forces with those of Europe and other allies. These alliances create a collective security system where nations cooperate to address threats together. Military bases located around the world allow the United States to respond quickly to crises. From Europe to Asia to the Middle East, American forces can deploy aircraft, ships, and troops rapidly when necessary. Economic power is also a major reason why the United States maintains such a powerful military. Defense technology is expensive. Advanced aircraft, satellites, submarines, and missile systems require enormous investment in research, manufacturing, and maintenance. Because the American economy is one of the largest in the world, it can support a defense budget that funds these sophisticated systems. American defense companies play a major role in this process. Large aerospace and defense firms design and build advanced equipment for the military. Engineers, scientists, and technicians work continuously to improve existing technologies and develop new ones. Space has also become an important domain of military strategy. Satellites orbiting the Earth provide communication, navigation, weather monitoring, and surveillance capabilities. Global positioning systems allow troops, aircraft, and ships to navigate with incredible precision. Cyber warfare is another modern battlefield. In today's digital world, information networks are essential for communication, transportation, finance, and national security. Protecting these systems and defending against cyber threats has become a critical mission for modern military forces. The United States invests heavily in cyber defense and electronic warfare capabilities, ensuring that its networks remain secure while also developing tools to counter potential adversaries. Training and professionalism also play a major role in America's military strength. U.S. soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines undergo rigorous training programs designed to prepare them for complex operations. Military academies and training centers teach leadership, strategy, and advanced technical skills. Advanced simulation systems allow pilots to practice combat scenarios in realistic environments before ever stepping into an aircraft. Special operations forces train for years to develop the skills needed for highly sensitive missions around the world. Logistics is another often overlooked element of military power. The ability to move troops, equipment, fuel, and supplies across vast distances is essential for modern warfare. The United States maintains one of the most sophisticated logistics networks in the world. Cargo aircraft, transport ships, and pre-positioned supply bases allow American forces to deploy rapidly almost anywhere on Earth. Human innovation continues to push military technology forward. Artificial intelligence, autonomous systems, and advanced robotics are now being integrated into defense systems. Unmanned aerial vehicles can conduct reconnaissance missions for hours or even days without risking human pilots. Hypersonic weapons capable of traveling at extremely high speeds are being developed to reduce response times and enhance strategic capabilities. Despite its immense strength, the purpose of military power is not only to fight wars, but also to prevent them. The presence of a strong military can act as a deterrent, discouraging potential conflicts before they begin. Throughout history, nations with powerful defenses have often been able to maintain stability and protect their interests without direct confrontation. The United States continues to evolve as global challenges change. New technologies, new threats, and new alliances will shape the future of military strategy. However, the combination of economic power, technological innovation, global partnerships, and professional armed forces ensures that the United States remains one of the most influential military powers on Earth. And somewhere tonight, far above the clouds, satellites continue to circle the planet. Deep beneath the ocean, silent submarines move through dark waters. On distant runways, aircraft wait for their next mission. Most people will never see these forces in action, but their presence is part of the reason the United States remains the most powerful military force the world has ever known.